Welcome, everyone. It's Kelly with Women for One, and I'm so excited about today's guest on Your Messy Brilliance Show. Her name is Shannon Nickerson, and she is a health and wellness expert and an educator and a speaker. And I got to experience Shannon motivating hundreds of women last year when I spoke at the What Women Want National Conference in Atlanta, Georgia. And you know, when you meet someone and you just say, I have to know this woman. That's how I felt about Shannon. She's changing women's lives daily, and let me tell you a little bit more about her. She's a mountain lover and a climber, which I love, a wellness advocate, and a soul-driven health coach, which I think is really important. She specializes in working with professional women to help them reclaim their power by ditching sugar. I know. Bear with me, ditching sugar for good so they can feel good in their bodies again. Shannon has been in the wellness industry for over 17 years, and she helps her clients to learn how to identify which foods work for their unique body so it's easier to make healthy choices for the long haul without feeling deprived. And I know I don't want to feel deprived, and I actually just signed up with her because I'm so motivated to work with someone that's holistic, that's unique and customized to each person, and that is soul driven. So I just love that her goal is for her clients to take charge of their health by developing tools to understand and beat their cravings for good and have more energy for their passions in life. And at Women for One, we're all about passion and joy in life. So welcome, Shannon. I'm so excited to have you here.
Oh, thank you, Kelly. I'm so excited to be here.
And I'm so excited that we're together in person. I don't usually do these in person, so it's wonderful.
I know. What a treat.
So why don't we start with a little bit about your story, because at Women for One, that's what we do. Tell us about your story as a woman and how you got started with the work you do today, empowering other women.
So it started as a young girl. We moved a lot. My dad was a nuclear engineer. We had 5 kids in the family. So I was born in Vermont, and I know you can relate to this.
Mm-hmm.
We moved all the time. So I moved to Charlotte, North Carolina at 3 years old, and it just kept going until I was 18 years old, and I could start saying, no, I'm not moving.
Mm-hmm.
So it left me feeling like I had no sense of control, no power. And through that process, you know, I had a lot of struggles. I was always the new kid, always trying to meet new friends, always try to be accepted. And there was some challenges that came along with that as well, because sugar became my best friend,
Mm-hmm.
naturally. And I never had this sense of security, feeling accepted, not with my family, not with my environment, and not at school. So it was just a real challenge for me.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Yeah. So what I did is the journey took all the moves. I started having this pattern of being bullied. And that started when I was in middle school. And I was in the Southern school, high school. And this gal just had a hatred for me that I just didn't understand. And I was probably 15. And it was a recent move. And I was like determined to be accepted at this school. You know, I'm doing the whole cheerleading thing, which, you know, had its own sense of community for what it's worth. And, but I never really fully felt accepted. And this gal had been bullying me since I moved there. And there was a sorority in high school. I don't know if you ever experienced that.
We didn't have that when I was in. Maybe some of you have experienced it, but I haven't.
So there was a sorority in high school, and we had a week of rush. So some of my best friends were already in the sorority. Well, it happened to be that this gal who had been bullying me was in the sorority as well. And I was like, well, I'm damn sure going to try. Anyways, So it's rush week, and we are supposed to dress like baby rats for the week. And the whole idea behind the rush is that whenever you see an older sister, is you give them whatever they want. So whether they want a simple request, a piece of gum, or maybe they want you to crawl to class, or it can be. It always brings up shame, right?
So they're awful.
They're taking your power,
right?
And they're shaming you, and they're deciding if you're worthy enough to join the sorority. So that's what I was going through.
Women oppressing women. Don't we love it? We don't get oppressed enough in the world, right?
Right. And this was high school. So I was desperate.
Well, girls oppressing girls then.
Yeah. Exactly. So it was the midway through, and I had pigtails, braids. I had a pacifier around my neck. I had this long rat tail, and I was in my pajamas and all this makeup on. And I was on my way to class, and here comes the bully. And I'm just looking at her, and she starts screaming at me, "Drop to your knees." I'm like, I'm going to be late for class. The bell rings.
Right.
You know, she's like, "Drop to your knees. You got to crawl to class right now. You have to do what I tell you to do." And I dropped to my knees, and then I just started shaking, and I could feel the tears filling my eyes. And I just looked at her, and I remember I just stood up, and I was like, "No, hell no." And I ripped off everything I had, all my costume, you know, the pigtails, the rat tail. I ripped everything that represented me being a baby rat and giving up my power. I ripped it off, threw it in the trash, and walked off. And at that point, I was like, that's it. You know, I'm not going to let anyone take away my power anymore.
That was a big aha for you then.
It was huge.
It's just amazing that, first of all, I don't even want to go there. Like, we could spend a whole hour on just why a school would allow something like that, and why teachers would even turn a blind eye to something where women and girls are so oppressed as it is. But to have other girls doing that, you know, that's just a whole theme right there, Shannon, you know, where you look at women and what they're doing to one another. Instead of supporting and uplifting one another, we're feeling jealous, we're being catty, and we're encouraging the shame with one another. Right? Yeah. So you basically just said, no, I'm out. I'm done. So what did that do for you?
So it helped me realize, one piece of it was I lost my trust in sisterhood. And so that's something that I really had to work to create as I became an adult. And so a lot of my friends in college were all men. And I was an athlete, and I got into, you know, my self-care became nature and rock climbing and a lot of sports that were male dominated, and because that's where I felt safer. You know, so that was the one piece. But what I also learned is that through, you know, because I moved again naturally to another school, and I was being bullied by like a pact of women this time. And, you know, so I had different tools, and I was prepared to meet it, and it just kept continued. And what I did was I learned that I kept leaning on sugar and food to like really help me feel safe and help me feel in control of situations.
Like some people lean on alcohol, or they get a boyfriend. You leaned on food. Yeah. So were you overweight in
particularly
high school?
Sugar? No, I was like the super skinny, unhealthy kid.
Well, I was a super skinny, unhealthy kid too, and I never ate anything. Everybody thought I was anorexic because I was so skinny. When, you know, I was younger, and that's not healthy either. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. So I grew up on antibiotics. I had chronic allergies.
Me too.
Chronic fatigue. So I was living on antibiotics and allergy medicine like every single day. And so, you know, the one piece was, okay, I'm taking back my power emotionally. But the other piece was like, but I'm still going to lean on this food that isn't serving me because this is how I have my control.
So the ultimate bully was sugar. And how was that? And how did you overcome that?
Well, so about 25, I graduated from college, and I was living outside. I was a raft guide. I started rock climbing. Yep. And I was living off Claritin every single day. And at this point, I had, you know, I had seen every doctor there was. I had adult acne, and I had gained about 15 pounds by this point now. My body was pissed.
And just so you guys know, she's kind of short, tiny, so that's a lot for you. 15 pounds is a lot. That'd be like 40 for me, or, you know, right.
Yeah, at 5'1", it was a lot.
Right, 5'1".
And then I got lovely adult acne. The like cystic kind where you
so obviously your body is going,
can't cover it up.
You're done. Like it's calling out to you. Yeah. Right. Yeah. For wellness in general.
We need your help.
Right.
And the doctors, you know, wanted to put me on Lexapro for my anxiety, Accutane for my acne, and it was just all medications. So at that point, by the time I reached 25, I started cleaning up my diet a little bit and reading some different books. And then by 28, I really dove into it, and I just decided I had one final trip to the urgent care, 102-degree temperature, and just more struggles with antibiotics. And I was like, I'm done. And at that point, since then, I've studied over 100 different dietary theories.
Wow.
And I just learned how certain foods were not fueling my body anymore. And I needed to figure them out because I had seen every specialist there was. And no one was helping me.
And your body was breaking down.
And my body was breaking
down. And that, when your body breaks down, your wellness breaks down, your emotions break. It's everything. It's holistic.
My spirituality.
Yeah,
my
it's everything.
Health,
it's not just your physical health.
Yeah. So I had this like strong sense of self that I was living inside of now.
Yeah.
But then my body wasn't able to support it.
I know that feeling. That's why I'm joining with you. Because I have, a lot of us have that strong sense of self. And I think also our bodies change as we get older. Yeah. What were you telling me the other day? Like every 7
years, every cell in your body will turn over.
Right.
And that was literally, so I've been through 3 cycles now of every 7 years where I've had to look at my diet again, look at my fitness again. What am I doing?
Mm-hmm.
Do I need more protein? Do I need less protein? So I've really had to tweak my own diet. And because I've been doing this for almost 20 years now, I know exactly how to do that for myself. I know how to test
awesome.
myself.
It's like a sweet spot for you.
Yeah.
Where most of society and most women are, feeling, I know I'm feeling out of control in the way of like, I feel more powerful than I've ever felt, more stable emotionally and socially and spiritually than I've ever felt. But yet now my body feels out of balance because I've been going so hard. And also because, you hit that age where your body does change at 45, 50, and you go into that. So I guess there's these places in life, there's many stages, you would say. Mm-hmm. So how does your system work that you have created now for women?
So what I start with is a clean eating program.
Okay.
And what that allows us to do, is really look at your baseline levels. So what does your sleep really look like? Your energy levels really look like? Your hormones, your emotional health? Mm-hmm. We can't really look at those until we get on a clean eating program.
Okay.
Because a lot of my clients are eating sugar at 1 o'clock to get energy for the rest of the day. Mm-hmm. And then I have clients that are drinking wine at night because they've been so jacked up all day to help them wind down. So using food and substances to, using coffee to wake up in the morning, things like that. So we look at the different lifestyle habits, the different food, and truly get the picture of what your baseline needs are.
Okay.
And so a lot of my clients, everyone's in a different place. So I may have one client that is having 5 Diet Cokes a week. I may have another client who's already gluten-free, but they're both trying to get more energy, right? Mm-hmm. So I have about 15 clean eating programs that I choose from, and some are 2 weeks and some are 12 weeks. And we just start there to look and see which foods are fueling your body and which foods are causing inflammation. So that is the sweet spot that I work with.
Well, and also okay, so for example, 2 things. One, on Women for One, we talk about women's stories. We talk about finding your truth, finding your power, finding your joy. And I believe this wellness is a huge part of it with your overall mental clarity, your emotional clarity, and your physical well-being. But like for like a Weight Watchers or one of those point systems, why do you think those don't work or set people up for failure? I'm not trying to have you bash them because they do work for some people. Mm-hmm. What's the differentiator for what you do compared to what that kind of program would do for someone?
Well, they don't really take into consideration like what your blueprint is.
Right.
And so I really believe in bio-individuality,
okay,
which is the idea that your genes are going to play a big role in what works for you and what doesn't. But not only that, where you were raised, what you were raised on,
right,
and your lifestyle up until that point. So there's a lot more variables that I look at that aren't considered when it comes to any program. So I don't really believe in a magic diet or a magic pill for anyone. Everybody is literally different. And so it just takes a little fine tuning and education to really figure it out for your body.
Right.
But then you have it for the long haul.
So let's dive into this whole sugar notion, because I think that word you've used more with me than anybody else. And why do you think, first of all, we're addicted and how we can overcome that sugar addiction? Why are we addicted? And because I find, like, personally for me, I'm more addicted to salt. But then when I looked at my diet, sugar creeped in everywhere. But I'm not a typical, like, I don't like desserts.
Yeah.
I don't like sweets. I'll have, like,
right.
this much chocolate and I can stop.
Yeah.
So I'm not one of those give me
You're
the
salt.
I'm a salt girl.
Salt.
I'm a salt. So that's why every time I hear you talk about sugar, I'm like, I'm sure there's sugar, a lot of sugar in my diet, that I could get rid of. What is it about sugar that's so not okay?
And it's really cravings. So it can be sugar cravings or carb cravings.
Yeah, I think mine's carb cravings.
Yeah, it can be chips and salsa. It can be...
That's me. I'm raising my hand, everyone.
Yeah. It can be, warm bread.
Mm-hmm.
It can be pasta. So, because when those get in the body, they're processed a lot like sugar because they're so...
Oh, got it. Okay.
Yeah. So the reason that we're addicted is that there's artificial sweeteners that are in a lot of our processed foods. Like, I know that's what I grew up on. So I grew up on Stouffer's frozen pepperoni pizza.
Yeah, I grew up on what are those things? Oodles of Noodles. My dad worked for that company, Nissan Foods, right?
Yeah.
And McDonald's.
Yeah, Happy Meal.
Before gymnastics, I would go to McDonald's and have French fries and a Big Mac. It's not actually as processed as it was in the 70s. I mean, it's more processed now, right? But still, not a good thing. I used to eat 3 Kraft Dinner mac and cheese, and not, just be fine with it.
Yeah. So that's the problem, is that's what I was raised on. So I literally ate crappy for 25 years. And, it's been 20 years that I've been eating healthy, and I've still had to come in and refine my diet every 5 to 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
And just take a look at what I'm doing and what my lifestyle is and what's not working for me anymore, because your body changes. So I think we're addicted because there's so many hidden sugars like high fructose corn syrup and aspartame are loaded in a lot of these foods that are being promoted as fat-free, low-fat, diet this, diet that. But even though I never did any of those, I just got addicted to the processed foods.
Right. So you really feel like, how can we overcome them, though? Like, how can we enjoy our life, once in a while have some chocolate or have sugar and not be obsessed with it? In our culture, I think women are really body shamed a lot and, enjoy our lives, but also have a balance and really feel healthy and well.
Right. And that's the one thing that I'm really adamant about, is that you have to have a program that you don't feel deprived, or else it's not going to be sustainable.
Right.
And whether it's chips and salsa or dark chocolate, that it's like with any other addiction. Once it leaves, you're not like, oh, I just broke up with sugar today. Sugar and I are done.
Right.
It's going to rear its ugly head again.
It's all percentages. And what I loved, just so you know, I'm starting this program and I'm just had this crazy idea to do like a diary every day. So maybe I'll do that. Ooh. Shannon and I can post it, because I think it's really important to do that and show people kind of what you go through, how you're feeling every day. But with that said, what do you do? What advice do you give to people that are struggling with this, or somewhere else in their lives that they're feeling powerless?
So the first thing, it starts with small steps and baby wins. So that's what we do in my program, is we look at, where do you want to be? So I have a one-on-one private program. So it may be, where do you want to be in 1 month, 3 months, and 6 months? Let's break it down. And then each week you want to set yourself up for baby steps, baby wins. So maybe it's saying no to sugar one day, or maybe it's saying no to a toxic relationship at work, or whatever it is. But it's just like with any other habit, you're exercising this new muscle. And the more you do it, the easier it's going to become.
Right.
And it's creating resiliency.
Right. And so you talk about this biofeedback that you work with people on. Can you explain that to us?
Yes. So that's one of my favorite tools. So biofeedback is a way of getting information from the body. So I like to use it because it allows you to balance any stress in your body that's conscious or unconscious. So we may know consciously of aches and pains or what we may be feeling, but really on a deeper level, there could be a different root cause of the problem. So the biofeedback allows us to kind of get to the root cause, because we may not always know really what's going on. So it's a way of balancing your stress. And a lot of times, like I was talking about, working that new muscle.
Yep.
So we know, as with any other addiction or cravings, it's not a matter of if you fall off track, but when you fall off track.
Exactly. So it's not bad. It just happens, right?
You just
have to just allow for it and prepare and patiently shift yourself. That's what I keep hearing, right? Don't be in judgment. Right.
Don't be in judgment. Don't shame yourself. And one of the things I do is we create tools customized for you so that you have your tools in your back pocket every time. So like I had a client that's been struggling with this for 20 years and she knew what to eat. She was a healer.
I know what to eat.
Yeah.
And I still do it.
Yeah. So she would fall off track on Friday with an office donut. And then it'd be
with an office donut.
Yeah, every time. And then it would be this slippery slope all through the weekend. And then all of a sudden it'd be 3 months, 6 months. Yep. And then it was 3 years. And she was like, I don't even know how this happened.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
How did I get here? Mm-hmm. Right. So when we worked together for 6 months, by the time we were done, she had tools in her pocket and she beat herself up, regularly around this, right? So there was that piece that we were working on. And that's where the biofeedback really can help because it shifts old ways of being and old ways of thinking, our old habits.
So when you say biofeedback, just so my community understands, it's like an app that you use, correct?
I use
where you speak into a mic, or you have an app that
I have an app that does that for you.
Yep,
yeah.
That you listen to.
Yeah, and it works with sound frequencies.
Wonderful.
Yeah, so you can do it remote. So my clients do it right before they go to bed at night. It's non-invasive, and it balances their stress in the body.
That's fabulous. And you've seen a ton of results from it?
Yeah, I've been doing it since 2002.
But like, what kind of results do you see? So,
right.
Just
so
if somebody's asking, like, what's biofeedback? Like,
right.
Whatever.
So this client I was working with who went down the slippery slope, right?
Right.
So we got her some tools. So the biofeedback is going to support your new healthy habits. Okay. Because as you start to take action and make different choices, right? So the minute you use one of your new tools, and maybe your tool, not for you, is a smoothie. Maybe you fall off track and you have a donut Friday morning, but Friday night you're like having a smoothie and you're like, okay, I'm back on track because a smoothie tells me I'm back on track. For someone else, it might be I'm going to do my beach body workout and that means I'm back on track. So whatever their back on track is, biofeedback
gets you there.
Yeah.
Helps
it's going to reinforce that habit. So when we were done working together, and I usually weave it into the program in month 2 or 3 because that's when we all fall off any program.
Okay, wait, stop. Did everybody hear that? Month 2 or 3
is when we fall off.
Because the first month we're like kind of January, all motivated. I'm gonna get there.
You're getting results. You're feeling
so that's
great.
why your program with women
is 6 months.
6 months.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Just wanted to reinforce that.
So usually weave it in after we've gotten some results and they're feeling good in their body.
Right.
But when we actually sit with that idea, we're like, actually, it's way easier to just go back down this miserable road I've been on than to continue making change.
Right.
So the biofeedback really reinforces the new changes. So, for example, my client who had struggled with this for over 20 years and ate clean and then went down the slippery slope for 3 years. We worked together for 6 months. At the end of the 6 months, she could literally screw up and fall off track and get right back on track. Like within 24 hours, 48 hours.
Wow.
She had her tools. There was, it's not perfect, right? We're not trying to be perfect about it. She's learning to not judge herself around it when she falls off. She knows that it's okay. She's got substitutions. So she knows what foods that she can cheat with. And it's okay. It's not going to drive her down this slippery slope. So she's empowered because she's in control of her health again.
Right.
She doesn't feel deprived because she's enjoying raspberry chocolate mousse.
Right.
That's one of my favorite recipes that people love that's on my detox program. So it's not about deprivation. So she just makes some tweaks, cuts herself some slack, and gets back on her program.
Right. And I want to reinforce, I even said to you earlier, Shannon, like, yes, I want to lose weight, but that's not my main goal here. My main goal is to feel like Kelly again. After I've been stressed, I have 6 kids, I launched a book, poor me. I mean, it's been an incredible life, right? But I'm just saying there is a place where it's like a lot of us don't want to be the 20-year-old bodies anymore. We just want to feel powerful and well and healthy and strong and not tired in the morning or the evening, or sexy even, and sensual for our partners and for ourselves, most importantly. So I really want to stress that this really isn't like a diet program I'm promoting. This is a wellness program for your life, correct? With biofeedback and with focused work. So how can women work with you? If they can't afford to work with you one-on-one, how can they work with you?
So I also have a group program.
Okay.
Called Reinvent You. It's fabulous.
Ooh, okay.
And it has a clean eating program as well. And it's a shorter program, but it allows you to dive into the clean eating piece in a group community. And
how many people?
Less than 20.
Okay.
And allows you to get my support. You get the clean eating program, and you start to figure out what's work for you and which foods don't.
Great.
Like I had a client who was addicted to junk food join that program. And she had 4 teenagers at home. You might be able to relate to this.
Yep.
4.
Oh, yeah.
Who were all able to buy their own food at this point.
Yep.
So there's junk food in the house.
Crap home, yeah.
Yep. She's at the aisle. She's checking out. She's grabbing candy and dropping it in her basket because she's also on a budget. And as we know, all of that stuff is cheaper.
Yep.
So she did my group program, and literally she was struggling with depression, her weight, and her relationship with her husband of 20 years was really suffering. And she lost an inch around her waist. She went down a bra size. Her sex life is back. Her relationship with her husband
she felt powerful.
Is so powerful now. And it's been over a year and a half. So she's got tools in place.
Right. And it's all about giving, my book, 7 Tools for the Perfectly Imperfect Woman. We're not trying to be perfect here. We're trying to get tools to feel powerful in our lives and to find joy and sustain it, and bring ourselves back when we go off track, because we will go off track.
Exactly. And that's what I want people to get. And then the easiest way to work with me is through my seasonal detoxes, which I offer once a quarter. And they have over 50 recipes. I don't believe in fasting or juicing for myself. I know it doesn't work for me. I have hypoglycemia. So I've got to eat every 2 to 3 hours.
Well, a lot of times, I don't know if this is a myth, but they say when you fast, sometimes you store the fat.
Exactly.
Because your body goes into,
I'm never gonna eat again.
Never gonna eat again, right?
Yeah, so I've tried the Master Cleanse, and I think different things work for different people, but this program was created to be eating.
Right.
And you just take out the inflammatory foods. So it's really clean, but it's delicious. There's snacks. There's, like I said, my chocolate raspberry mousse recipe, which is a big snack.
Sounds really good.
It's amazing. And there's if you're a salty person, there's a sweet pea dip.
Perfect. See, I'm a salt. I'm definitely salt, because the raspberry chocolate mousse. But I'll tell you, my husband, every dessert, he's like, I'll take some of that. And I'm like, really? Why would you waste your calories on that?
Yeah.
But
Yeah. So that's one of the easiest ways.
Right.
And there's live coaching. So all my programs are remote.
Great.
But there's live coaching with me, so you get support. We jump on Zoom, and it's only 7 days. So
it's like you kickstart
anyone
yourself.
Can do it.
Right.
And I actually have my my next detox is coming up April 23rd.
Oh, awesome.
Which, by the way, I didn't tell you this, but you'll get to jump into my detox that comes with your program.
Oh, can't wait.
Can't wait. I know. I knew you'd love that.
Can't I just detox before and not keep detoxing?
We'll have a couple weeks together before that kicks off. But that's on April 23rd when that kicks off. Yeah.
Well, this is, I have learned a ton, and I'm really excited to learn more from you. And I am going to explore doing a quick video every day. I think it'd be good to just be like, okay, I feel like crap today, or, oh my gosh, I'm feeling better. It'd just be nice to do a little video diary of my journey with you, on this program.
Yeah.
So you have a free gift for all of our listeners. Can you tell us about it? I sound like Price is Right. Can you tell us about that free gift?
Yes,
Shannon?
your free gift. So one of my favorites is my smoothie ebook. It's 9 smoothies to change your life.
Oh,
my favorite way to crowd out your sugar cravings or your carb cravings is by flooding your body with whole food nutrition.
Okay.
Easiest way to do that is with a smoothie. And if you're not getting filled up on your smoothie, you might not be using the right ingredients.
Oh.
So this is going to give you the recipes, what to put in it. You can grab it at mysmoothieBook.com.
Okay, mysmoothieBook.com.
MysmoothieBook.com. Yes.
And we'll have that all up on the site. But the other thing is, you can so let's review. You can do individual coaching with you. You could do group coaching. And then you have your 7-day detox. How many times a year?
3 or 4 times a year.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So thank you for your service to women in the world. I'm really honored to know you. And I'm very, very excited about working with you in the future. And
I'm excited
I really feel like, the first step to supporting our health is to get an assessment. And you're offering this beautiful 45-minute assessment at shannonnickerson.com that if our listeners go, they can access a free 45-minute assessment with Shannon, which, I just did before the call, which I'm very lucky about. But thank you. I did it in person. Yeah. I'm really excited. But yeah, please take charge of your health, your wellness, and really take charge of your power in your life. And I'm just so honored to know you. Thank you for your time.
Oh, I'm so excited. Thank you for having me. It
Thanks,
was so
Shannon.
fun.
All right, take care, everyone.
Bye.
Check out shannonnickerson.com. Bye.